Good evening, and welcome to another episode of A Journey in Boots. I'm your co host, Dorothy Odell, owner and founder of Unstoppable Overcomers Productions, with my amazing, lovely co host, Dr. Jay Royster, founder of Semper Modus. Welcome back for another week, Dr. J. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I love
I,
that countdown, by the way. I just
I
got to say,
know.
I'm back there just to bebopping. It's
I
amazing.
was going to try and find something different, but you love it so much. I don't even have to bother.
Why would you do that? Somebody who made that for you? I don't know who it
No,
was.
I stole it off Canva.
It's amazing. I love it. That's awesome.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of this, though, I do have a disclosure just to protect our butts. Although it is in our best to get this podcast to bring to you genuine and authentic guests. We do not take responsibility for the reviews, hostility, or comments made by our guests that may affect others, unnamed or otherwise. Anything said by others on this program is done to them and for entertainment purposes only. And Jeffrey's laughing his ass off in the background, but I'm just covering our ass, Jeff. Long story, which we won't get into on air. With that, though, I am bringing up the amazing Jeffrey Knight. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey.
He's speechless.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Like, I'm excited. So this gentleman here, 28 years in the Army. Like,
Wow.
Hello, sir. 28 years. He's also co-founder, one of three co-founders of Angels 14, a veteran organization that is like takes leadership to the next development as well as camaraderie. I will admit, everybody's welcome, including allies, and I'm generally there at least once a month. If I could be there every Friday, I would be. But
How cool is that?
I know, right?
I want to hear more about that.
Well, let's get to the Jeffrey. Tell us a little bit of what life was like before you joined.
Before I joined the Army.
Yes.
So
yeah, on purpose. You joined the Army
on purpose. So what's interesting about that is, I mean, fairly, it's not unremarkable. I mean, I had a great upbringing. Parents divorced, mom got remarried. Couldn't have asked for a better stepfather. And I was a jock in high school, so sports and all that. And then what's that?
Where
in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Okay. Awesome.
I just stopped the entire show right there.
You did.
She doesn't like
where is that?
So
it's over there in the United States. Cool.
Yeah, it's up there, kind of in the north, but it's not North Dakota. Let's make sure we get that straight.
Look, I'm from Michigan. I get it. So
yeah, and so but the Black Hills are Mount Rushmore.
Yes, you have all the presidents.
Yes,
the good ones.
So yeah, Mount Rushmore was in my backyard, not literally, but that was my stomping grounds.
Beautiful.
And so coming out of high school, I wanted to go to college, yet didn't have a way to pay for college. And so
other than borrowing an exorbitant amount of money, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's a whole nother discussion, right? Especially these days.
Right.
A completely different discussion. But so when I came out, my brother was in the Army, and my brother, he had great service. He had a great time, but it wasn't something that I actually looked at that I wanted to do. I just had no interest in it whatsoever. And so come to find out, yep, I don't have a way to pay for college, and all of a sudden the National Guard became very attractive. At the time, the bonuses weren't nearly what these were. This was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And so I decided to enlist.
Yeah, this is last century, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the rest of us? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I enlisted and became a 51 Bravo, a carpentry masonry specialist.
Woohoo!
And so nothing really sexy, but I learned how to build things, right? But I've forgotten more than I ever learned. And just ask my wife, because she'll tell you, yeah, he can't build shit. And so And so, so that was, that's kind of leading up to that point. And that's one of those things where I always take a look back at, and it was one of those things where I begrudgingly went into the Army.
Mhm.
And then I found out that, I kind of like this, serving my country. But still from the get go, I was still planning on getting out after my term, and just getting or enough time to repay the college, so
Mhm.
that I could have that taken care of. And
Right.
then 28 years later, there I was retiring.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you didn't like it. You didn't want to be in it. You got into it to pay for college, and then you decided to stay for 28 years.
Yes. Right.
What was that? How did that come to be?
That was one of those things where it was when I take a look back at it, best decision I ever made in my life, besides to marry my wife. And she
Nice
said yes.
catch. I
Yeah,
love it.
right, right.
Yeah. Good
And
job.
she said yes. I have no idea why. And by the way, just for plugs, happy anniversary to her next week.
Oh.
Next Wednesday, is that the 25th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So next Wednesday is our 31st wedding anniversary.
Holy cow.
Congratulations.
So she has been with me for the long haul, and throughout that. So yeah, and so it was kind of just a progression from there. I got into college, I did a year and a half of civil engineering, and decided that I couldn't pass Calculus 3, and I had no desire to pass Calculus 3. And so I switched it up. Went to
You passed calculus 1 and 2, man. I didn't even pass pre-calc. I got 58% and was told I was unteachable. Why do you think I went into psychology? Like, it's not a thing. How did you do that?
Calc 1, I made it through. Calc 2 was a very loosely passing.
Got it.
Yeah, and said I do not want to do this, even though I had a 2-year ROTC scholarship, full paid, that I could have taken, but I decided to not take it, and transfer schools and got a degree in psychology. So yes, right. Dr. J can feel that.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And so from that point, I still so I was in ROTC, and I stayed in ROTC. Decided that, hey, yeah, I'm going to continue on with this. Enjoyed it, and I pulled my packet and said I want to go active duty. At the time I graduated, and it was 1991. Yep, I'm dating myself. 1991. And those were big cutback years, and so they weren't even taking some scholarship students active duty.
Well, that was
So
Desert Storm, right?
yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
So
See,
just
I did last century too.
yeah. I feel you. So yeah, so I stayed in the National Guard, stayed in, and then transferred once I moved to move from there, and started in the civilian world. I transferred to the Army Reserve, got married in '93, as I said before, and then decided to put in, met one of my old ROTC instructors, who happened to be at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin. And he told me about the Active Guard Reserve program, which is the full-time Army Reserve. And that's what he was. And so decided to apply for it, got in, and then 20 years later, retired. So that's kind of the 50,000 foot view level. But crazy. It just, it was the years passed by, you hit 10 years, at the 10-year mark, you pretty much have to decide whether or not you're going to stay in.
Right.
Because anything after that, make it 12 years, 15, nothing wrong with it if people get out after that time. But my thinking was, well, I've made it 12 years. I might as well go the rest of the way and get the benefits from it. So that's kind of how I ended up there. In 2015, retired. And now I'm kind of on this civilian journey thing.
Well, veteran journey.
Veteran journey. It is.
Never
yes.
Civilians again, ever again.
No, and that's one thing they can't take away from us, right?
And if you're a Marine, you're never a veteran. So, they will correct you. I assure you. I get
that is correct.
They just sit in a corner eating crayons anyways. Like,
That's correct.
Just Once a Marine, always a Marine. They are never veterans. They will
Never.
get offended.
If
Love
Johnny
these
Walker
ladies.
is watching this, Johnny will vouch for that.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he will. Absolutely.
and our good friend Micah Parker, who's
Yes.
also a Marine. And oh yeah, and I am truly doing a Memorial Day weekend with him in May, and we will have it in Illinois. So stay tuned for more details on that. There will be like a
Love it.
whole freaking rook.
I am
Yes,
so proud of you.
A 5 to 10K ruck. No, not K, miles. Yes. So
Amazing.
Michael is one of the guys in Angels 14, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
No, I was just impressed that the Canadian lady didn't say Illinois. Like, I was proud of you for that because I'm from Michigan, so I know, like, it's Illinois. You did it well. Good job.
I have family and friends there. Actually, I have more family and friends there than I do here. So really, once my mom's gone, I'm a free agent. Like, hello,
Florida.
Well, hello, yes, hello, Florida.
Hello, Florida.
I just gotta convince my husband.
I just want her to live next door because I just love her so much.
Right?
So
I know. Find me a place for Christmas.
okay, sure, I'll get right on that.
I need 8 people for Christmas in Florida. Anyways. My brother's willing to pay. So
Nice.
I know.
That's awesome.
Anyways, back to Jeffrey. Sorry, I digress.
No, this is what it's about. It's camaraderie.
Yeah, we do this rabbit hole thing. Like,
Yep. I love it.
Okay, so you got out of the Army. What's next?
Right.
So got it out of the Army, and so
no, I have a question. Can I interrupt?
yeah.
Sorry. So, typically, individuals who have taken that journey through retirement have at least a minimum of 12 months of symptoms of depression. Did you endure that?
After I transitioned,
Yes, sir.
I actually did not. And so
Wow.
it's one of those, I mean, could you say that there were things, yes, that I missed, and there were times where that would become a factor.
Well, plus you always know what to wear.
Right? So yes,
his wife dresses him now. Come on.
From that perspective, yes, I had those same pulls of I miss the camaraderie. I miss knowing what I'm going to wear every single morning. I miss knowing having the stability of a job that I wouldn't be laid off from unless I did something egregious, right?
Right.
And so you go through on that transition, you go through that. It's like, and you go through imposter syndrome.
Right.
I'm a fish out of water. I have no idea. I've had this stellar career, and nobody can take that away from me. Yet our confidence plummets. It absolutely plummets.
No hope, no purpose.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
The CI told me that, and I mic dropped it. I was very surprised, and he was 1,000% accurate. But he was also, I saw him in August. He was retiring in November, and he was talking about that lack of hope and purpose, and what is next, and how am I going to handle it? Because I've been doing this for 40 years. I can't imagine 28. I mean, that's your whole life, your whole adult life.
Whole adult life. And retiring, and then of course battling and trying to figure out the transition piece, which I listen to a lot of people, which a lot of people don't. My view on the Army is that I could have gone for more rank at the end and tried to get one more promotion, but that would have taken me. But I didn't want to move my family. And so I made the decision that I'm not going to go for the sexy job. I'm not going to go for those that I know are going to get me promoted.
Right.
And decide, because I'm not going to lose my family over the Army.
Right.
As loyal as I am, and I love my country and all of that stuff, I'm not losing my family. It's still the way it is right now. I still have that same view. I saw too many old timers that got done with awesome, awesome careers, but they had nothing at the end except
Right.
for that, oh, here I am, and now I have nothing.
Right.
And
But you
many
don't have knowledge. You have a plethora of information and experience. So it's like, okay, what role can I fill now?
absolutely
So
100%.
what did that look like for you?
So for me, I like every other veteran that comes out. I was in operations. I was also on the HR side of things, but so I was looking at the operations roles, and I actually got a position before I left the Army. And so on my 120 days leave that I had built up, I was working the civilian job.
So you retired from the government just to work for the government?
No, 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 no. In operations, it was for a manufacturing company, a small business,
Okay.
and so that came about. But that was through working about a year out
Mhm.
and learning all the things that I needed to learn and actually taking the time, which not everybody has that luxury to do.
Gotcha.
And which I have no idea why commands don't do that, except that, well, we need them here. Well, no, you don't. You need to teach them how to leave the Army or leave the military so that they can contribute to society, and we don't have this jacked up suicide rate that we have.
Right. And they're supposed to have that. And the intention, and I think the reason that they created it within the DoD is the Skills Bridge program, which is like a 6 months where the Army pays
Yep.
you to go do something else. And, Dorothy and I have a Dr. Tuturi on here, and he has always um, had a Skills Bridge program, and he's brought like Army, Navy veterans or that were transitioning to veteranhood, right? Into
Yes.
the hyperbaric. So that was a big thing. I worked with a lot of those individuals that were getting out of the service to do that.
Yeah.
So what did
And
you do for your Skills Bridge program?
so I did not do a skill bridge program.
Say
I
that
can
3 times
talk.
fast.
I can talk. They didn't. That wasn't offered in 2015. That wasn't
Okay.
something that was out there, and so we have since that time we have grown in that degree, and that's the idea. However, there still is an issue in the active military of letting people actually do those, and they base it off of that we need the personnel, we need them here, and you have commands that won't let people do the skill bridge, which is an absolute travesty.
Yes, it is.
It should it is in my opinion it should be an absolute. It should be an absolute. Everybody, you're going to do one of these.
Right.
And if you can get in and you can get in and get one of those programs, yes, you're going to go do those,
Right.
because that is going to provide the transition while they're still in their element
Hmm.
to have that adjustment period. The military does a fantastic job of bringing us in, breaking us down, building us up into what they need, and rightfully so. They have training on lockdown,
Hmm.
100%. And what they don't do is they don't begin the same process at the same time for when you leave the military.
Correct.
And that is still missing in today. The TAP program is there. They have other things, however, they're just not robust enough
Right.
to prepare us for coming out,
Correct.
right? And so whenever I have the chance, and I love this subject too of transitioning out, I did it successfully. I had a pretty easy transition. However, 2 years after I got out, I was laid off.
Mm.
So 2 years, I spent 2 years at the company. Was laid off. I understand it was a business decision. I completely understood that. But talk about
Oh yeah.
a blow to the ego, to everything that I
Because
tried to
that
build
was your
up.
fear throughout for the 28 years you were in. You had that safety net. And
Yes,
then you get out only to be laid off. That was your greatest fear.
Absolutely, 100%. And so I during that time I was only laid off for 4 months. It's still a lengthy time. But then took the job in trucking, which I enjoyed. But then 3 years after that, I got laid off from that job.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
And so you can imagine, so coming out of the military, then getting laid off twice, and there's many of us out there that happens to, okay,
Right.
for many different reasons.
Right.
And of course it's like, okay, here I am, I'm back at square one. Now I've got a little bit of civilian experience, and now how do I explain what I do have to get that next position? And oh, by the way, I was laid in February of 2020 is when I was laid off the second time, and everybody knows what happened in March.
Yeah, my
Yep.
birthday. Awesome.
Yep.
It did. It happened on my birthday. It's fantastic.
Is that right? Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
And so if I take you through my journey in boots, and this is what that's called, right?
Yep.
When we're talking about it, I had a successful career. I deployed, was not in combat, and by the way, that doesn't bother me. There is that little piece in there that says, hey, if I did, but in all reality, it doesn't. And it took me a long time to be able to say that.
Right.
Took me a long time. If there's any place where the depression or those types of imposter syndrome came in, that was it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And my story is kind of, to me, it's unremarkable, but I did have somebody tell me that that's what makes it relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Because most out there, and I've met a lot of brilliant veterans out there, and so many that have such an impactful story, and they're such awesome stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I always looked at it. I kind of don't have that story.
One right here. This little guy. We all know Greg Bicknell.
Greg Bicknell. Yes, we do. In Florida as well.
And he wants to know, did you tell them just who you are? They don't even know. They lost it, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He corrected himself. That's why I read it properly. And absolutely. Incredible.
And I have to credit, and I'm going to bring it up, and so Sarah Carell, who's a great friend, Sarah, Dorothy,
yes,
runs the Power of the Story, fantastic group that meets, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. There's a few different options for people, but she told me one time, she said, Jeff, the fact that your story is normal, kind of, is what makes it a great story.
Yes.
I never thought of that until she told me that. And that wasn't too long ago, as a matter of fact.
Dorothy's like that.
Oh, she's so good. And so when she told me that, it clicked even more. I mean, I had already worked on it. I had already worked through some of those things. And I know we've got to come here to the Angels 14.
Yes.
But that's a part of that journey. That's a part of the journey that I went through.
Right.
And I don't know if you want me to go launch into that real quick.
Talk whatever you want to say.
But
you can swear, you can burp, you can do all kinds of things on our podcast. We don't.
Yes.
Dorothy doesn't care. I don't care.
Oh no, she doesn't care. Yeah.
So and really, I mean, and all that said, right now I teach learning and leadership development. That's what I do for a job now, and it's not really a job because I love what I do. And so, but it took me that long to find that thing. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago is when I took the job. It took me that long, 2015 to 2022, to find that thing. And that's a part of that transition as well. And so hone in on, and those are the things. You can make a passion that you have, you can turn that into a position. You just got to learn how to communicate that.
100%.
As a part of the layoff that I had in 2020, I was out of work for 363 days. Not that I was counting. and that was a very, very tough time.
Yeah.
For a lot of different reasons. But I'll tell you this, the beauty that came out of that, one was it brought me back to the veteran community and really let myself get in touch with other veterans again. Not that I'd ever left, but I was off on my own journey. I'm going to make my way in the civilian world. I'm going to prove that I can do that too, right? And I had that mindset.
Prove
But
it to?
what's that?
I said, who are you trying to prove it to?
I was trying to prove it to myself.
Because you didn't know that already?
I no, and that goes back to what you talked about before.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've been successful, and I know I can be. I was successful in the civilian world before, but now after 20 years of actively doing something, now I have to pivot and go into this whole civilian world thing again. And so a lot of growth happened. That brought me back to the veteran community, and then I was able to, with Dave DeQueljo, a Navy veteran fighter pilot, we started what we call Angels 14 in 2020. So we're 4 years strong. We're not huge. We're not large. We had different ideas about what it would be in the beginning. And however, it came back around that, you know what, it's really what it's going to entail is a weekly call on Fridays at noon Eastern that veterans and allies can come to and be themselves. And it's camaraderie, community, and connection. And Dorothy's a part of it. You've been a part with it for a couple of years now, I think.
Yep.
And it's not, we have had up to 40 people in the very beginning during those times where it was really going. At a time, we have anywhere from 1 to 10 people now. But that doesn't bother me either, because we open it up every week, regardless. And Michael Parker, if he's still on here, Michael Parker's he's a Marine that you can count on. But he opens up his Zoom and is always there when I can't be, and it's simply for camaraderie, community, and connection. And the impetus of this was how many veterans were killing themselves, and what else can we do to help people understand they can be themselves, they can be in a space where they can be vulnerable and not be judged. And that's what Angels 14 is all about.
100%. And
what's that?
What did you say?
I said, I know 10,000 veterans. I said, how many can the space hold?
I think it's 100 right now, but
okay.
But if they're interested, yes, DM me.
Okay.
You can get a hold of Dorothy too. She'd be more than happy to give you the link. And or anybody out there that's listening that would like to join, because again, we have people that go away for months at a time and then all of a sudden come back on. And that's simply what we're there for no other reason than that.
Little rejuvenation. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it provides that again, that purpose. And I can't tell you, I mean, there's so many stories we could go through on the impact that the group has had. Me.
I want the impact that it's had on you.
The impact it's had on me is it gave me a purpose during my layoff. It absolutely gave me a purpose, and it ignited something in me that led me to what I'm doing now. And that is, I love to work with people. I love to help them. I love to see them grow and learn. And I love to talk about leadership. And so that's what I got out of it. And it rejuvenated me as well and gave me that hope. Great question.
Leadership is crucial. I agree. I started my second doctorate on that, and then I, of course, switched. But that leadership, that guidance, that understanding that like you can just be yourself. But do you guys have like specific topics? Is there anything that makes them go, this isn't for me, or this is for me?
No, from the very beginning, we said we have no agenda. That's what we kept it at. And there are days, and Dorothy can tell you, I don't know that we want to say some of those words on air right now.
Go ahead.
Let's say I I've been vetted into the veteran world, man.
You
I
have.
am one of them.
We told you
But
you were knighted already. We
it
got
could be, yeah, I mean, it could be just that we do talk about, and so many impactful people. I mean, so many impactful people have come on
That's awesome.
and keep coming on and telling their story, which again helps us continue to try and help. There's connections that we've made that have helped other veterans. And one of the stories is, I'll tell it real quick. And Michael Parker was involved in this. And Michael Parker got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we've got a, I put on a call and said, hey, we've got a veteran in Wisconsin, a homeless veteran that needs to get, or is arriving in Phoenix. Do we know anybody in Phoenix?" We actually have a member that's in Phoenix, which I contacted and said, "Hey, do you know of anybody that can pick this individual up, or any contacts that they can have?" Turns out she went and did that her very self.
Wow.
And picked him up and made sure he was there. And there's still things that came out of that we're continuing to set him up in some place out of the goodness of her heart. And although she doesn't want to do it, I'm going to call her out here. But her name's Agnes Chow. Follow her, of the Empowered Heart. Another plug for her. But talk about impact and the reach. And it was nothing except the phone call, and it's that connection.
Right.
And that's just one story. And there's others that are out there as well that, I mean, so many people have come back on and said, you know what, I would have never met this person, or this person, or had this, had I not been on the call. And so to me, that's the number one thing, is making sure people have each other to connect to, they help each other. And we have zero agenda. We have zero topics. But the topics will generally come up. We try to infuse a leadership topic in there, of some sort, or how to handle self-care. So if anybody's interested, come on to Angels 14, see what we're all about, see how many impactful people are on there, and have some fun. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I always say, like, if, as far as suicide prevention, I'm definitely a proponent of that. And I tell people all the time, if you need to ride a unicorn, sing Kumbaya, fuck it, right? So,
100%.
like, any way that we can get veterans to connect and emerge in something and feel that sense of belonging again is absolutely the most selfless thing you can do.
Yeah,
is create that space.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, and that's for me when I think about it, and I don't, all I see myself as is that connection, that space to provide that.
Yeah.
And that to me is enough.
Right.
And so it provides me with that other outlet.
So my question to you is, there's no requirement, there's no agenda, it's just community.
Just community. Absolutely.
We laugh, we cry, we tear each other up, and in a brotherly, sisterly
banter way. Yeah,
banter. It's the banter.
The banter.
It's
love the
100%.
banter.
And if you're super sensitive,
no, sarcasm is a veteran's middle name. So, like,
100%.
Come on now.
Yeah, and so we wanted that way because we didn't want it to feel stunted. We didn't want to feel it to be set up or scripted. And we just wanted to be, hey, if you want to come on and say shit, say shit.
Yeah.
If you want to come on and say fuck, say fuck. Okay.
Cool.
And that's really what it comes down to. And it's also something that we can't say those things in normal civilian life, because somebody is going to look at us and go, what the. Okay. And so we can be us. We can, Dorothy can be Dorothy. Which,
and I am unfiltered.
And she is unfiltered. And so it's, again, it's just, and we always think about, hey, what else can we do? Right. What else we can do? It's not the huge things you can do that matter the most. It's the small things that add up to that. And if you can find something to do, to contribute to whatever cause that may be for you, that's going to have an impact, because you have no idea who you're going to affect that day, and you may never know.
Mhm.
I just
Absolutely.
want to say one thing. So when I first started, there was a couple with Angels 14. I distinctly remember Tammy Laird is she's the heart and soul of Angels 14 is what Jeff calls her.
Yeah.
And so she was running the shows, and so we call the main show, and then afterwards, if any veteran needed help afterwards, like they wanted to just talk, but anybody could come on without not be on camera if they wanted to. Like if a veteran was in a very dark place, he didn't want to show their face, they didn't have to. And I can remember this one particular person, he was in such a dark place, and I stayed for the after show, and we were just, there for him, got him through that time. And I would say for a good solid year, he would keep on coming back. And if he wasn't, we would follow up with him off air and just check and see with him. And I have to report, after 2 years, this guy is thriving. He has his own business, helping other veterans. And it's amazing to watch, like the transitions and transformations that I've seen in some of our people that have stayed the course within that is like night and day. Like you completely changed that guy's life. I won't say his name on air, but you know who I'm talking about. And Jeff does. And it's incredible. No, Jeff does. Okay. It's incredible to watch the transformations within that within that group within just the 2 years that I've been there. Absolutely amazing what that group has done. And that's why I am forever, hey, you want camaraderie connection, you come with me. Let's go on Fridays. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, all are welcome. It doesn't matter. Just come.
Everyone is welcome. And and we have been known to go a full hour. If somebody's in need, that person is the center of the hour. And that's where, and that's why I say the group transforms lives. And again, over the years, we have, at the same time, we still are. I mean, it's one of those things where people come back on and they say, "Oh my gosh, I can't make it today. I need to make it here shortly." And it's absolutely amazing. And it has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. It was an idea that Dave and I had.
No.
Yeah, not that I know.
Those connections.
Yeah, and so it's very important to me, and here over the last couple of years, I haven't been able to be on as much as I have been, but I've had people step up and say, yeah, I'll get on. Michael Parker again is from Devil Dog K9, by the way. Another shameless plug. It's his own dog training business.
Nice.
So go look it up on LinkedIn.
Where's he at?
He's in Illinois.
Okay.
Bloomington, Illinois.
Yep.
Very cool.
But just to plug, he drove all the way to North Carolina to go get a dog for somebody in Texas or Arizona.
Wow.
Bringing him home to train him in Illinois, and then he'll take the dog back to its owner in, I think it's Texas, but just saying.
Dorothy brought this up a couple of years ago, but I think I was working myself to death back then.
Still hard.
No, my son was a lot lighter, ma'am. So I may be able to pop in and see what's shaking.
No, would love it. Yeah, just DM me. I'll send it to you, or Dorothy can send it to you. But pop in, just see. It's again, no agenda. Bring yourself. All are welcome. It is for vets, but we absolutely welcome allies and really just anyone that may need it.
We've had first responders on there as well.
I gotta again those.
Okay. Just saying, some of them, I know the stigma of they kind of clash. Veterans, military, and first responders clash. Some of them. It's what I've heard after so many interviews that I've done. But in here, they managed to just all seamlessly be together.
I don't disagree, but I also know that a lot of veterans become first responders.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It happens.
Yeah.
So,
it does.
What words of wisdom do you have for us, kind sir?
I don't know if you'd call it wisdom or not, but it's really when we break it down and we talk about who we are, whatever you want to say about yourself out there in terms of those things. But the thing about it is being vulnerable, being authentic, having empathy, compassion, understanding are so underrated. And we also have this aura about us where we tell ourselves a story,
Yeah.
and that story is often that we are less than.
Of course, we are trained to be humble.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with being humble. However, in your head, just know that you are more. Okay, you know what's coming, Dorothy.
I know.
You are more than just a just.
Just. Yes.
Aw, I got goosebumps. I love that.
Yeah.
That, my friend, he did a post and the post went sideways. And then on one of the angels calls, he was passionate in there and just like, let's just do this. And I was so fired up after that call. I did a blog post about this, but Jeffrey, like, oh, I just love it when he gets into this. I can barely contain myself right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I you know what I'm and for the example, so when I deployed, I didn't deploy to Iraq or Afghanistan, and oftentimes I will find myself saying I just deployed to Kuwait. Okay, and that comes from that. Yep, I didn't do what other folks did, but I've learned to say yes, I deployed. I may have not been in combat physically. I may not have been there. I still deployed, and I spent time away from my regular life, from my family, and all the things that come with it. And so that's one of those things where I just didn't deploy to Kuwait. I deployed to Kuwait, and I'm not just whatever it is. You're not just a co-host, right? You're not just you're just inserted. And it's something that I've learned to say over and over again. It's and I love talking about this. So if you'd allow me, I would talk for the next 3 hours on this, but and really get into it. And Dr. J and Dorothy, I know you'd be game for that, but
We
anyway.
would. I love that. I got goosebumps. Like, I am just a co-host. I am just a doctor of psychology. I'm just a licensed therapist, Like,
Yes.
that is so accurate a statement. So
Yeah.
to hear you're not just a just, that's a mic drop. You could walk off stage forever with that statement. That is powerful.
Yeah, and that's what those transitioning out need to understand. You're not just a veteran, and you're not just an infantry soldier.
Okay, I got makeup on. You can't be making me cry, so we need to move. Okay? Just saying, that is awesome.
You are valued and you matter, and
Oh,
understand that. And we are all in this together. So please reach out for help, no matter how hard it is, and no matter how much the military drummed it into your head that you don't ask for help. Let's not be stupid. We are highly trained individuals throughout the military. I don't care what you're doing. They know how to train us. Use that training, fall back on the training, and apply that to civilian life.
you weren't alone then, and you're not alone now.
Not alone now.
Yeah,
Not at all.
love that. Oh,
Yes.
so it could take 100, right? You just keep saying that.
You can say it. We will find a way to fund to get unlimited. I will do a fundraiser if we have to get to get funds to get a full-fledged one. If we get up to 100, Dr. J,
Okay.
I will do a fundraiser to get the funds he needs to get a unlimited. But okay, I just want to say one
challenge. It just sounds like a challenge to me.
All right, well,
I'm up for it. Any help we can get.
Okay.
So one of the things that I know I keep going back to this, but I have to, because number one, like Angels 14 is like my brothers and sisters. Like, honest to God, it is the one call a week that I look forward to, especially when I can get on there. And if I'm having a crappy day at work, it's like just seeing their faces lights me up. But one of the things that Jeff has definitely said, because, I know how our veterans are when you say thank you for your service, but Jeff is drilled it into my head that, great, thank you. I appreciate you saying thank you. But the ones that really need to be thanked are the spouses of the active duty member. Jeff, can you go into a little bit about that? Not to disregard our members.
No disregard whatsoever for the military individual and what they do and serve our country. It's absolutely one thing we forget, though. In all of us forget it, is that not only do we serve, but our families serve right
Yeah.
alongside of us. And the underrated and unheralded group in that, at least from my perspective, is the spouse. And I can tell you that I would not have had the career I had without my spouse and her willingness to deal with the time away, to deal with all the things that come along with being a military spouse. And so, so I always pass that thanks on to her. And I always say that because of that very fact. My children as well. When I meet a military bride, it's, hey, thank you for your service. And they're like, what?
Right.
Yeah, you served.
Yeah.
Your parent was there, and you moved around every 3 years, every 2 years.
Right.
That's hard.
Yes, it is.
And so for me, it is one of those things, the military spouse, and it's so awesome to see all the organizations out there supporting the military spouse, and especially the active duty military spouses right now that are moving constantly and not being able to have a career because they're moving and all of those. So yeah, that's really my basis for that. There's, my wife, I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't be had the career that I've had without her. And for us, it's just serving somewhere else. Like, okay, I get deployed. Yep, that sucks because it's lonely and there's a lot of different emotions that come with that.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know we're going to do our job.
Right.
They are left here
To do their job.
to do their job.
Right.
And yours, because you would be around to help.
Right.
And so that is a massive responsibility and a massive sacrifice. Can't say it enough. Thank you for bringing it up, Dorothy.
Well, you, like, seriously, you drilled it into my head that one day. And so on Veterans Day, I think everybody that's involved within that family. And so, yeah, I bring the love everywhere. Once I know and get knowledge of it, I bring it everywhere.
Yeah.
Last week we had a medical doctor on, and she is actually a spouse of a Green Beret. So she's talking about, some of those fun things, but they're both physicians now. So it's very interesting to listen to their.
That is too.
Dynamic.
And the Green Beret life is Green Beret wife, I should say. As I slipped up there, but that's true. I mean that can be on a whole another level.
Oh yeah,
because it's at the drop of a hat. Yeah, leaving. Okay.
And Ken, you don't even know where they're going. At least,
Nope.
when we get deployed, we know exactly where our orders are, as opposed to a Green Beret who's like, I'm on a plane at 3 hours. Bye.
Yep. Okay. See ya. I got my A bag. Let's go.
Yep.
Right. And so, yeah, so impactful, and it's so, so when and that's one of those things. There's also people that have retired from the military, even in our current age that have not deployed. And those folks, they served. So you serve, if you serve a day, I mean, some people could walk up to me and say, hey, I tried to serve, but I had a medical issue, so I had to get out. I couldn't make it through boot camp. Hey, you know what? You signed your name on that dotted line.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, that was your willingness to put your life on the line for your country, for those around you.
100%. Amen, brother. Woo-hoo.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. So I'm going to ask you, what is one thing that nobody knows about you?
Oh my gosh. That's a high gain question. That's a loaded question. Uh Everybody knows I love heavy metal. Everybody
I
knows
don't.
that. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but
I am a metalhead
a
through and
metalhead.
through.
And he's
And
also an Avalanche fan too.
and
Wow.
I am an Avalanche fan.
Well, let me tell you something real quick, Jeff. I had dinner with Axl Rose and Metallica.
No kidding.
Yep.
Right on. Right
I was
on.
17 at the Pontiac Silverdome, and I used to be a drag racer, and one of our nonprofit organizations was working some of those booths that they do in those civic centers.
Uh-huh.
And they were having a concert, and we got chosen to have dinner. So we did.
Love it. With James and Axel.
Yep.
And the group. Wow. That's
and the
cool.
Metallica band. I didn't see Slash, but I saw everybody else. I don't know where he was. He was busy, and I was 17.
Probably in a corner somewhere.
He was, yeah, chances are.
I didn't know the inner workings of a rock and roll band when I was 17. So
yeah.
some of them were there, but I did talk to, I think it was Lars, about his PhD.
Yep.
Which is interesting because
very interesting. There's a lot of those rockers out there that have those degrees.
Yes.
Neil Peart did from Rush.
Right.
I think I forget what his name, lead singer of Offspring, does. Bad Religion.
Yep.
A lot of those bands do. So I don't know what else I could say about what people don't know about me. I'm a fairly open book. So if you know me, you kind of know me.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch this around. What's the one thing that you have not done in life but want to do? That's on your bucket list.
I will have to say travel more. And specifically, well, my wife would too, but both of us, we'd love to go to Greece.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I've been overseas, but that was overseas.
Right.
that was downrange, so to speak. But so that is one of the things, just to experience that, and
I think you're looking for a different kind of vacation.
Yes, a little bit. I flew through Athens one time when I had to fly back, but it's just through, and it's like, oh well, there it is. Oh, okay, cool, and then hop on another plane, and then I'm out of there. So, yeah, that's one of those things that I besides what I'm already doing. So, and traveling is one of those things that haven't had a huge opportunity, but here over the last 10 years or so, I've had a decent amount. So, that's what I would say.
Very cool. So my last question to you, obviously his LinkedIn is down below because Dorothy's amazing and knows how to click stuff. I don't know how to click stuff. My Zoom is my phone number because I don't know how to do stuff. So not my forte. Anyway, my question to you is, because this audience is a little different and this is like my network, I mean, Dorothy's network obviously knows who you are, but I'm kind of spreading you around here in this camaraderie. What would be like something you want to leave the audience with as far as motivation and leadership? What advice would you give them? How would you get them to continue to tomorrow with all of your experience and expertise?
Yeah. So if there's anything that for me, it's a very simple message. And I've, and this is something that I bring up when we're talking about leadership. And by the way, we need really good leaders out there. So if there's anything to focus on, it's focusing on leadership. Yes, do your job, do the things that you do, but please learn how to lead and not just manage. The thing that I would say, if you're an aspiring leader, or even if you already are, and you're already doing this, but simply give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is care about being a leader. If we don't care that we're a leader, then we're not leading.
Right.
And when you commit to it, understand that being a leader is not just moving people onto schedules and moving them from place to place at your place of work. It is actually caring about them and their development. And so just giving a shit, that's really what it comes down to. If there's nothing else, because I tell you what, if somebody knows you give a shit as a leader, they will walk through hell for you. Hopefully that answers your question.
So this whole,
as I expected.
I just got this whole Jeff journey is give a shit and you're more than just a gist.
Yes.
And those are two mic drops that are like,
Absolutely. Keep it simple, stupid. We love it.
Hey,
That's Army way.
Absolutely.
I just say that because I'm Air Force, but
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the chair force. But that's okay, because you can take bullets out of people.
That's right.
So it's and that brings me back to, because I give that example too, is that the first impression of any commander that walks in, or any authority figure, when they walk into a room full of soldiers or airmen or whatever, the first thing we're doing is looking them up and down. Are they wearing their uniform? Are they in the right uniform? Are they wearing it right, etc.
Right.
And the way that I tell this story is that that's exactly what we do. However, if somebody works on, and this gets into bias, so that's a whole nother thing we could talk about, but it gets into bias when we're talking about it, is somebody walks in, and you know what? If I know they are a doctor, I don't give a shit in that regard how they wear that, as long as they can fix me.
Right. All biases dropped. Maybe we need a part 2 on Jeff Knight.
This man is hard to get a hold of, but I'm sure I can talk him into a part 2.
I'm sure you probably can.
I'm sure with this gentleman, I could probably get my way with that.
That would be very cool. He'd be our first part 2. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I just want to thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on. Like this has been, when I knew you said yes, I was just like, yes, I can't wait. This is, you are, like I said, one of my veterans that is very close to my heart and would, do anything for. It's like, right. On purpose, because
she puts you at the top on purpose. Like, what is she thinking?
I don't know.
Sarcasm, middle name. Just saying.
I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know what my wife is thinking. Still married to me, but it is what it is.
Well, it's because you're not just a Jeff.
That's right.
Correct.
And you're doing something right. If two powerhouse women want you around.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, 3 now.
Well, 3, yeah.
Now I found out it's cool.
Nice. Hey, I appreciate that, Dr. J. That means a lot.
Welcome.
We said I didn't flub that one up, right?
No. Well, I got to check out this meeting, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Yes. Anytime. And come on, we'll have a good time.
Fridays at noon.
Fridays at noon Eastern. Yep.
Yeah, like I can't just hang up here and get on the thing. Like
No. Fridays at noon. And we'll be on tomorrow. So if you're interested.
Okay. I love it.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks to our audience for being here. Before we wrap up, though, because I really want people to know what Dr. J does. She is an amazing human being as well. She, like I said at the beginning, she owns Semper Modus. So, Dr. J, tell us whom you serve with Semper Modus.
Okay. So, first, Jeff, make sure you stay a little bit after when we sign off, please, because I want to talk to you a little bit more. But Semper Modus means always on the move or always motivated. That was taken when I did my LLC. So I went Latin and a little bit of Finnish, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, long story short, basically means always on the move because I'm never home. And I created it in order to bill for myself. That's what happened initially. And then I started recruiting my friends who served. I have lots of different people in lots of different places. Some police officers. I have Army dudes who are therapists, licensed therapists. I have a psychologist who's a Marine. I have people who have served at the VA and they've retired there, and now they're just taking care of their clients, like a continuation of care. What we do is we stand in the gap. We are also VA Community Care Network. We also work with combat controllers, SOCOM, special operations. We are in several networks all over the country. We take TRICARE nationally, and we take insurance. And the majority of the time, we don't have a copay because we have different places like Project Vet Relief that supports us as a strategic partner, and they cover those copays for those individuals who are struggling and cannot get services at the VA for at least 90 to 120 days. So we help them out by getting them in within the week. We have an intake person. We have an account specialist. We have all these people in place so that we can serve those who serve and their families. So that means all the veterans, even the Coast Guard, active duty, National Guard, first responders, all of them, including teachers, doctors, nurses, firemen, police, you name it. We are here to serve those who serve.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good stuff.
So if you would like to get a hold of Dr. J, J, how do they get a hold of you?
It's htt yada yada sempermodus.llc.com. I don't know what the beginning is. So
www
with a T. It's sempermotisllc at gmail.com is a good email. And we'll get you situated, get your insurance stuff, and get you seen within 48 hours.
Love it.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And thank you for whom you serve. I know I just referred like crazy. I know somebody is, anyways, because I know that what Dr. J does helps. And yeah,
I have a whole span of people now, and it's not just me. So,
right.
I hit my 10,000 veteran served mark, and I kind of passed the torch. So I'm very excited to see what this year brings.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
So there we go. So yeah, you need to come in onto Angels 14 so that you could, talk to our veterans, get camaraderie yourself.
Absolutely.
Dorothy talks so highly of the individuals on Angel 14, and I'm just like, who are these people? I need to know.
They're
my
people.
brothers and sisters.
Love it.
They are awesome people.
They are awesome people. We're small and mighty, but I know that we're going to get back up there again.
Well, you will now. You're in trouble.
We're small but mighty. But you know what? We still have those members that are out there that aren't able to make it on every week, and so we fully understand that. So
when they need to be fed, they show up. So that's amazing. That's what matters.
And so, but I wanted to thank you ladies as well for having me on today, tonight, whatever.
Tonight, yes.
And but truly appreciate it. As always, Dorothy and Dr. J, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm excited to terrorize you. This is going to be fun.
Oh Lord, fresh blood. Shit, what have I done to you, Jeff? Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
It is what it is.
You have no idea.
No idea. With that, guys, be kind out there. Be safe. And as always, see you next week. Same time, same channel. Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, guys.